Hello and welcome to the mobile application development course using Flutter. In order to develop application in Flutter, let's first install the development environment. So in order to set up the development environment using the Flutter SDK, we need to install these different tools. So we have a Git, Android Studio, Visual Studio, Flutter SDK itself, and Visual Studio Code as an IDE. So let's first jump into the download process. So first we open the browser and search for Git Windows, and we will see a link here. So from here we need to download the Git. So if you have a 32-bit system, you can go for this one, and if you have a 64-bit, you can start installing or downloading this particular setup. So once you have downloaded the Git, then you have to go for downloading Android Studio. You go into the browser and search for Android Studio, and then just open up the very first link that appears. So here you go. So from here you can download the Android Studio. So just click on the download, accept all the agreements, and click download. So in this way you will be downloading the Android Studio. Then comes the Visual Studio. So here we need to install the Visual Studio Community Edition of 2022. So again come into browser and search for Visual Studio Community 2022. So again click the very first link, and then you will see the download button here. So clicking this one, you will be downloading the installer for Visual Studio. So make sure that this is not the complete setup for Visual Studio, it will be the installer setup. So once you install it, then you will be downloading some more components for Visual Studio. So once it is done, then you will go for then again downloading the Flutter SDK. So for the Flutter SDK, again we will search for Flutter SDK for Windows, and then we come up with this link, and here in this link you will see, so this is the installation for Windows operating system. So we need to download this particular zip package. So click on this and start downloading this particular package as well. So after that, having all those tools, the last one is the Visual Studio Code. So again come into the browser and search for Visual Studio Code. So click this download link here, and then select the appropriate setup. So we have a Windows, so click this one and then wait for the download to appear. So here you go. So in this way you will be downloading all the different packages. So we have all these packages already downloaded in this folder, so have a look at this. So we have Android Studio, Flutter, Windows SDK package, Git, Visual Studio setup, VS Code setup as well. So after downloading all these things, then comes the step for installing each and every component, so that we will be able to set up the Flutter development environment. Installing the Android Studio, we just double click this package, and then it will be extracted and going to install the Android Studio. So again follow this particular wizard. So select the location where you want to install the Android Studio. So it is recommended to keep it as the default location, and just click install and just wait for the setup to be completed. So now the setup has been completed, then just start the Android Studio. So again, we need to download some more components for the Android Studio, just like an SDK, the AVD device. You just go in for the next, like the standard, and go next, like the appropriate theme. I would like the light theme. And then right after this one, you will see these are the list of the components that will be downloaded and installed when you click this next button. So just head over to the next button, and then click this one, and then accept the license. Again, go for the same thing for this component as well, accept, and then just click finish. So it will be downloading and installing the component, so you have to wait it around. So it might take some time depending on your internet connection. So after waiting for long, so you will see that all those components will be downloaded and installed successfully. And just go in and you will see this particular window being appeared. So here you can go for creating a new project, and then we will set up some new more components there. And also one more thing, when you create a new project, a Gradle build system will also be downloaded. That is very much necessary while you are developing application for Android. So in the footer, we need a proper running Android Studio. So let's head on to the new project, like this one, and then select any particular template. So we will be happy with this empty activity. Click next. This we're having a demo application, so just rename it. Again, that is not necessary, and just click finish. So you will see that it will be downloading some platform components and some other Gradle build system as well. So again, wait it around until it is downloaded and installed. So the Android SDK platform packages are installed. So click finish, and you will see this main window appears for the Android Studio. But again, for the very first time, it will take some time to build the very first project, and parallelly it will also be downloading some components that are necessary to build the project, just like the Gradle build system. So at the right bottom corner, you will be seeing the progress of the current project being built around. Again, wait it for the process to be completed. So once it is done, you will see that the project has been built properly. Now another thing is, most of the people complain about Android Studio being very slow while it's been running or building the apps. So normally what happens, no matter how much RAM do you have got in your system installed, the Android Studio by default uses a very low amount of the memory. So in order to increase the amount of the RAM the Android Studio uses, so go into the help menu, create custom VM options, and then click the create button, and then just set these two properties, XMS and XMX properties, so according to the RAM you have got there. So one of the recommended thing is regarding these settings. If you have got the 12 GB or 16 GB of the RAM, just provide half of the RAM in XMX settings. Let's say I have 16 GB, so I will just be writing down the 8 GB of the memory in terms of the megabytes. So I will just calculate how much that would be. So 8 gigabytes multiplied by 1024, it is 8192 M. So it is 8192 M. And for the XMS settings, I will just be happy with 4096 M. So it is very much important to set the values properly. So I'm just setting it according to the 16 GB of the memory. So do not allocate more than half of the RAM in this portion, and then just allocate somehow less amount of the RAM as compared to XMX within this particular parameter, that is XMS. So once that save this particular Android Studio, close that one out, and then next time when you will see, the Android Studio will be running faster as compared to the very first one. So if you have improperly chosen the setting for the VM options, then your Android Studio may crash out and will not run again. Then you need to reconfigure that particular file. So now as you see that it has been launched successfully, this means settings are properly set. And then if you see even on the right bottom corner, so all the loading and indexing has been done completely as you just click the launch button for the Android Studio. Now the next thing that we'll be doing is to create and set up a virtual device. So for when we'll be developing application for the Flutter, we'll test them out within that virtual device. So go into the right side and you will see this icon, device manager. Click on this one and then click the create device. So after that, selecting the phone from this option and then select the appropriate particular template for your phone. So let's say I'm going for Nexus 5X and then click next. Now you need to select which Android operating system should be installed within that particular virtual device. So let's say in this case I will be going for Android 11, that is the Android R. So just click on this download button and it will be downloading and installing the complete Android R operating system, which will be installed in your emulator. So again it will take some time while downloading and installing this particular image. So the Android image for the virtual device has been successfully installed. So click finish, select that installed image, click next again, and then you may set up your name for the AVD or you may leave it as it is recommended and then just click finish. So once it is done, you will see our new virtual device has been created. Just test it by executing the virtual device. Click on this play button and then just wait for the device to be launched up, and then you will see that the Android device will be available in this interface once it is completely launched. So here we go. So our new virtual device has been launched and you will see it will be behaving just like a real device, and you may run different apps, you can change the setting and so on. So this will be the device where we'll be testing our developed applications. So this is our new Nexus 5X AVD device. And then after that we need one more thing to be set up in this Android Studio. That is to go onto the right bottom right top side there, you will see SDK manager. Just click that one and then the SDK manager will appear, and then here you have to go to SDK tools and we need to install some of the components that are necessary for Android app development when you're going for the Flutter application development. So you need to check out one of this command, that is Android SDK command line tool. And then another thing that you need to do is to install this Google USB driver. So this is needed whenever you want to develop application and test it on your real hardware device. So just click apply and OK. So again it will be downloading and installing the components that we have selected right now. So the components are installed. Now we are happy to close the Android Studio as we have set up all the components. So just close the Android Studio and then we will move on to the next component to be installed. So after installing the Git and Android Studio, now it is a time to install Visual Studio. So we have this setup the component being downloaded there. Just double click and launch this Visual Studio installer, and it will be downloading and installing some components that are required to install Visual Studio Community 2022. So the installer is ready to download different components. So we will leave all the default items that have been checked there, and other than that we will be selecting some other components that are required. So the very first component that is required is this desktop development with C++. Just check this button and you will see that some detailed component will appear on the right side. So we need to select a few more components from here. So as we are developing the application on Windows 10, so we need to select Windows 10 SDK. So select the latest one, which is at the top, and then another thing that we need to install is this .NET Framework component, the Visual C++ 2019. Click this one. So by clicking these two components, we'll be installing these additional components there within the desktop development with C++. So after that, just click install, and then this particular setup will be downloading and installing the components which we have selected. Just wait it around until the process is completed, and this may take time depending on your internet connection and the processing power of your system. So the setup for the Visual Studio Community 2022 has been installed. Just fill that one out, and then so once it is done, now we move on to the next component, that is to install the Flutter SDK. So we have downloaded this zip package. So it's a very simple setup to download to set up the Flutter SDK. Just check this particular raw file, and then you need to place it this expected folder into a particular directory where you have no any issue about some permission. So please do not put this folder inside the program files or Windows folder within the C drive. It is preferable to place it in a directory where the access permissions are already provided, but they are not restricted. So let this setup be extracted completely. So now this folder has been extracted. Now it is recommended that we should place this particular folder into the root of the C drive. So just we cut that folder from that extracted directory and then paste it here in the C drive. So again, just wait for it to be placed there. So once it is there, now one more thing we need to set up for the Flutter is we need to put the Flutter bin directory. So this one, the bin directory path within the path environment variable. So just copy this particular path and then go into the start menu and then write it down, environment variable. So edit system and environment variables, go into the environment variables option, and then within this path variable you need to add this particular path as well. So click OK, click OK. So this is necessary when we need to access the flutter.exe, this particular file within the command prompt. So now open the command prompt by running this run dialog and then hit cmd. So in order to check whether the Flutter has been installed successfully or not, we need to run one more command, that is the flutter space doctor. So this can only be executed if you have put that Flutter bin directory within that particular path folder environment variable. So again, at this particular point you need to wait it out until the Flutter doctor command will be analyzing your system, and then will be checking that all the requirements for the Flutter setup are already installed or not, verified or not. So we'll see that most of the components are already installed. Just one of the warning is available, that is regarding Android toolkit. It is Android licenses are not being accepted there. So we need to run this particular command, that is the Flutter Docker Android licenses. We need to accept these licenses. So we'll just copy this command, press Control C and then Control V here, hit enter. So it will be installing the Android licenses. So you need to press Y for accepting the licenses. You need to do it multiple number of times to accept all the licenses. So once it is done, you need to rerun this command, that is Flutter Docker, and again wait for it to see whether all the requirements have been fulfilled. So you will see that once all the things are done properly and then set up properly there, so you will see no issue found. This means that Flutter installation has been done successfully. So after installing and setting up the Flutter SDK, now we are left with one last thing, that is the installation of Visual Studio Code. So we are using this Visual Studio Code as an IDE for developing and debugging our Flutter application. So just head over to the Visual Studio Code setup, double click and then agree the license agreement and follow this wizard to install the Android, the Visual Studio Code setup. Just wait it until it is being completely installed, and then we will launch that particular Visual Studio Code and set up few more components. So it's done. Just click finish to run this Visual Studio Code. Select your appropriate theme. So I will be happy with this light theme. So now the Visual Studio Code has been installed and launched here. Now in order to develop the Flutter applications, we need to have one plugin installed within this Visual Studio Code. So if we go into these extensions, we need to search it for Flutter, and then we'll see this very first plugin there, the extension, that is Flutter extension by .code. We need to install this one. So this is necessary whenever we need to have a support for Flutter syntax and syntax highlighting and some other debugging tools that are related to the Flutter. In order to integrate those different things within the Visual Studio Code, we need to set up and install this particular Flutter plugin for extension. So the Flutter extension has been installed. One more plugin I will be installing is the Material Icons theme. So although it is not necessary, it is not required, but if you install this one, the folder structure for the Flutter will look nicer. So I will install this particular extension as well, Material Icon theme, and once installed I will activate that and then select Material Icon theme. So now it is all about installing and setting up the development environment for Flutter app development. So everything is set up around there. Now in order to check whether the Flutter SDK and the development environment is working properly or not, we need to create a very first project for the Flutter application. So within this Android Studio, I will just open the command palette so I can access it from the view and then this particular option, that is command palette, or we can have a shortcut as Control Shift P. So I will type in Control Shift P, so command prompt will appear, the command palette. In order to run certain commands related to the Flutter, I will just type in the word Flutter as an hint and I will see some command will appear. So we are going to create a new project here, so I will just click this Flutter new project then select what type of the project we are having. So I will select the application, then select where this particular project will be uh, saved there. So I will recommend you that go into this document folder and then create another folder that is named as Flutter projects. So sorry for the typing error. So click this folder and select this one. Now just type in the name of this particular project that you're creating, the very first project there. So I will name it as Flutter underscore demo. So one more thing that you need to be careful about is the project name that you are setting for the Flutter project. It should not contain any space in between. It should be all in lowercase, and it should not contain some Flutter related keywords. Just like I cannot use this term Flutter as my project name or some other terms there. So it should be related there, and it will be giving you a hint there. So as it's not giving any warning sign there, so this thing is fine. If I just hit enter, now this you just click on trust a particular author, and then after this you will see that it will be this Visual Studio Code will be creating a particular uh, folder structure here, and that is the particular template, the built-in template. So you will see on the left side you have a particular project structure directory. Number of the folders and files are available here, and one of the file is open named as main dot dot. That is the important file while we are executing the Flutter applications. So this is a specific template application. Now in order to run and debug this particular application, what we need to do is go into the right bottom corner. You will see Windows x64 option here, as the Flutter is used to develop application for Android, iOS, Windows, Linux from the same code. So by default it is using Windows as the target platform. So I will just click on this option, and then I will select the emulator that we had created in Android Studio previously. So it is a Nexus 5X. So I will launch or start this particular uh, AVD device so that we can or will be able to run and test our application within this AVD device. So here we see that this particular AVD has been launched there. Now whatsoever will be debugging this application, that will be targeted to the Android operating system. Previously that was Windows 64. So now what we need to do, once the emulator has been launched, we need to click on this start debugging button. So once we have clicked here, now what will happen is this particular Flutter plugin that we have installed will be communicating with the Android Studio and the Android Studio SDK to build this particular application that we have created right now. So now building process for the very first time will take some amount of the time, because this Gradle, that is the build system for the Android, for the very first time takes somehow a certain amount of time to build all the things here. But once that is built, then when you will go for relaunching the application for the next time, so it will be very much faster at that time. So right after this, we have to wait it around until this particular project is being built around here. So after a very long wait, our first application has been built successfully and ready to be launched into our emulator. And here we go. So our application has been launched within this simulator, and you will see that we have a top application app bar there, and we have some text component here, a floating action button, and when we click this button you will see one of the text component is being counted up. So this is the one of the app reflected by this particular code within this main dot dot file.